Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Premier Sim Gaming League's Gran Turismo, or GT, top tier. And welcome, of course, this is our break week that we are managing to host the race in this week. We had an inadvertent break week last week, but we're back with you to fill in the schedule. So we should be the only thing on the channel, I think, if you are watching online with us. We'll be underway for qualifying very shortly. 8 minutes of qualifying to follow with a 36 lap, roughly 60-minute race. My name is Webbo. I'm here back after a short break away due to work commitments, but I'm back on the mic tonight for you. Greetings to Art, ABDN, and to Luisifan. And we are here for the Deep Forest Raceway Swiss circuit, a official 18-corner circuit, although really the hard work's done by the end of the hairpin of turn 14. Then it is a virtual flat-out 1 kilometre section all the way up the hill towards the start-finish line, and we go all the way around once again. We'll be underway very shortly, just waiting for the nod from HRG. You can see on the live chat on the left hand side if your resolution is strong enough. But while we're here, do ask any questions that you need to. I will take you through the current standings as they are in this second season. So heading the championship currently on 59 points is Antonio, and he has a single win and 3 other podiums to his name, although only scored us 6 points in the previous round. We have in second place, just 3 points behind, is our double second place scoring but 1 DNF from AFA. There he is on 56 points in the BMW. Next comes Mehdi, who has a win to his name and some less reliable, less consistent finishes on his other races. He's on 34. Next is Moreno, Moreno, in 32 points. He has 2 third places and a second, and then 2 no scores. Then comes Hasnain, your season 1 champion. He's currently only on 24 points, less than half of the current championship leader, and looking to score big as soon as possible. Will Hasnain, he is in the Cayman GT4 Club Sport, the purple livery, the Asahi Kessi corner. Quali is underway. We are reliably informed, so let's ride with AFA, shall we? And get underway. I will help you get familiar with what's going on. Let's sit inside the car, because we won't do this during the race broadcast. It is far more difficult to enjoy on board. So let's see every inch of the track as we go on board with AFA. He is currently second in the championship. Just to finish off the top 10, then in 6th place Jamie, then comes Aura, Kai Racer, Maxim and Callum. Many of those will not be taking part tonight for one reason or another. You can see our entry list on the left. 8 drivers on the tower currently. You should be able to see, yeah, we have got 10 drivers for you for the race tonight. And then in the Constructors Championship currently, that sees BMW on top with 94 points from Mercedes. Then comes McLaren, Porsche, Nissan, Audi, Dodge and Lexus bringing up the rear. Lexus do not have Lexus Enjoyer actually driving for them, so try not to get too confused for me. Lexus Enjoyer, quite a difficult name to announce on screen, and I think he should have been forced into the Lexus no matter what. Anyway, this is the first of 2 long flat-out sections of the racetrack. You can see the third sector of the race of this track will be almost fully full throttle. This is the penalty zone with the double yellow chevrons there. Any penalties will be deployed at that point. They'll go off throttle for the period. Here's the last hairpin, and then you can see it's a flat-out section. The tyres in operation tonight are the hard and the medium. They are the mandatory tyre. You can of course use the soft if you wish to, but the medium and hard must be used for at least 25% of the race distance. That is 9 laps tonight, and the cars will start the race with full fuel. There are 1:34.788 for AFA, beaten by Mehdi, beaten by Joss, a newcomer to the championship tonight. Joss gets second place. Let's see what Stan is up to. Stan gets a fourth place. We have Antonio, our leader at the moment of the championship, only in sixth place, and has got a rather unpleasant gap to the car in front there, the Pokemon liveried BMW M4. A little bit of a challenge for him if he's trying to go full throttle here. The M4 gets well out of the way after losing adhesion through the tricky first sector of the racetrack. About to pass over the first sector. We already have the first sector time being, but just getting an update on the cars shortly. You can run out wide at this point of the track, but try to avoid it if possible. The game will be fairly harsh on certain sections of the racetrack. Not on every single one, so it's worthwhile trying to stay within those white lines unless you are ultra confident of the lack of penalty. So braking heavily down into the final hairpin comes our championship leading Antonio. You can see the marble pickup on the outside of the circuit. Obviously hasn't been swept very well by previous support races. We go full throttle, missing the pit lane entry, of course. The racing line takes you across pit lane entry, but priority given to those entering into the pits, and the onus, of course, on the full speed drivers to avoid contact. It's a little bit like Sao Paulo's pit entry in that respect. Jumps up to P3, but quickly deposed by Jamie in the Porsche, and he gets the beautifully liveried Aperture Laboratories split livery here from Jamie. He gets through at third place. HRG, Jamie's teammate, in sixth. Goes straight up to provisional pole on racing medium tyres as well, so a very promising start there from HRG. He changed cars, and so the constructors' points he accrued prior in the championship have not been able to be counted, but Jamie goes pole provisionally there on a let me just get the time there. It's a 1:34.1. HRG a 1:34.2. So the Porsche stranglehold on the front row is the way we see the race right now. Next comes then Prima Josh, Prima team, his team name of course, but Josh with Mehdi, Antonio, Afa, Stan and Hasnain, your top 8 currently. Down in the doldrums though at the moment, Lexus Enjoy 1.6 seconds off the pace at the moment, which is set of course by Jamie. Let's see if he can improve his time. He's going to start on the hard tyres though, which will mean a penalty in terms of pace for this particular qualifying session, but a slightly more favourable starting tyre. The reason I say that, and he jumps up half a second but stays 10th, the reason I say that the hard tyre will give him a little bit of a disadvantage, but an advantage in the race, is that his slowest running will be done while fully fat with fuel, and then he'll have the option with 9 laps or fewer remaining to put the medium tyres on and run low fuel with the shortest possible pit stop. So it gives him a nice option there if he's not particularly confident of his ability to jump up the grid. Another newcomer then, Lum Racer here currently. He jumps to P8 ahead of Season 1 champion Hasnain, and he manages a 1:34.895. The time is getting quicker. We've ticked over the 8-minute mark. This should be the final lap, I believe, for everybody on track. Let's follow along with our drivers then and see as they come to finish their laps. Then it's Lexus Enjoy currently heading the drivers about to finish their final lap, in my estimation at least. We're waiting then. Joss has left the room, so just waiting for these laps to be finished, and then the cars will park up. So on board with Lexus Enjoyer as we go down into the hairpin. Let's see what kind of a time he can muster out of his car. Nismo Nissan here, cutting across the lines there to stay as straight as possible, all the way up the hill, full throttle, chase that helicopter as we dip underneath the gantry. Across the line then, Lexus Enjoyer, it's a personal best, but it's not quick enough, unfortunately for him. Let's try and find you the next driver then on the circuit. This is Mehdi from third place. Mehdi, any advance on third? Mehdi, no, no ability to jump up there. It's still Jamie from HRG. Mehdi, Antonio can't go any quicker either. A 36.6 is his next time, and Afa stuck at 5th place. Then comes Sten. who stays 6th at this current time. No, he jumps up to 5th as one of the cars, I think, goes to the pits, who was ahead of him. So we will get the full results once the game screen starts up again. And as usual, I must say, please bear with me as we start the race. I'm afraid I am stuck with the camera that the game gives me from the outset. I have to then exit and go back in unless they fix that patch in my time off. We will remain hopeful that they will do that. There is your Season 1 champion, Hasname, and the grid will be declared very shortly. You'll see that. I do believe that Jamie and HRG will hold on to that fastest time. However, Jamie there still on pole. HRG parking up on the circuit and into the pits. So we shall be underway for you very shortly. I hope you're enjoying the coverage so far. If I can help with any questions, if you're a newcomer, let me know. If you're here to support a specific driver, of course, let me know that too. And your predictions for our podium will be very gratefully received as well. So do drop a note in the chat. My chat seems to have frozen temporarily, so I apologise if you're typing away and I'm not able to see what's going down. So, I think we have 10 drivers. We did lose Joss temporarily. We're waiting for him to rejoin, which is why there is a small hold-up. HRG and Jamie went on the medium tyre. We'll start on the medium tyre, and they're the only ones on the medium tyre at this current time. So, looks like they'll be hoping to sprint away from the rest of the grid. Presumably, they'll try and work together as well as teammates there in the Porsche Cayman GT4. So just waiting to see if we can get Joss back into the session. I think he might have had a system error or a disco at home. So let's see. So Yazan is here supporting Antonio. Need to bring the Merc points up, which is good. Okay, good to hear. Thanks for that, Yazan. So are you predicting an Antonio win, perhaps? So no tyres to be changed is the instruction, and in 2 minutes we will be underway. Just waiting for Joss here. I don't know how delayed that race chat message is for me. Here we go. Joss is in, so presumably we will exit the room shortly and head straight back in again. I hope you're looking forward to this one. 36 laps around the Deep Forest Raceway track with, as I say, 2 long flat-out sections, favouring those who have managed to trim out the car. And it'd be fascinating to see how the medium tyre option start here, the aggressive start, will compare to the hard tyre majority of the rest of the field. And when that pit stop takes effect, you'll see them run for at least 9 laps on the start tyre, and then they'll see what becomes. So looking to get back on the racetrack, I think, and well, we'll try and watch here. There is Joss back on in the Jaguar. First time we've seen a Jaguar here in the championship, so that'll be interesting to look at. Nice livery as well. If you've got any livery comments, do let us know as well. If you would like any livery in particular, or I hope you're a fan of Pokemon if you are joining us, because there's have been a fair few Pokemon livery cars. There's a rainbow striped McLaren there. We're just waiting to make sure everybody is on track so we can restart. And yet that is your starting order there. You've got Jamie, HRG, then Mehdi, Afa, Sten, Lum Racer, Hasname, and Joss. I'm not seeing where Antonio is. There he is, 4th position, which is great. So everybody needs to drive past Sector 1 and stop in order for us to restart the lobby. So we'll be on the race coverage for you straight away. Jamie on the outside, HRG on the inside. Please bear with me with the camera angles to start with. Very difficult for me to make any changes. And then we've got chasing the Mehdi Antonio combination, and let's see. Yeah, I'm stuck with stuck with driver eye view. We'll go from 5th place, Affa in the middle of the field as the front two get away neatly on the medium tyres. The two Pokemon liveried Mercedes and BMW drivers vying for that 3rd place as they head down into the first corner. We're looking to see any action going on in the background. Everyone behaving themselves a little bit wide from Lumracer and allows Sten to jump into his position. Then we've got Joss on the chase from the back of Season 1 champion Season 1 champion Hasnain, Lexus Enjoyer at the back, and there is Jamie getting away nicely. Please bear with me as I try and get a decent camera angle for you. And I can't, so I'm going to have to exit and come back in again as per usual. Let's get back in the action and we can see everything happening a little bit better now as well. So Jamie away from the start neatly and tidily with HRG the same, matching him for pace and staying with him. They need to focus on getting away from the rest of the grid here. Jamie, HRG, Antonio, Alpha as they go full throttle down towards the last hairpin on the circuit, and it is HRG just making a slight nuisance himself in the mirrors of his teammate, but getting the car stopped up nicely. There you see Alpha in 4th place with Mehdi, Stan in 6th, and Lumracer in the rainbow liveried McLaren there in 7th place. As they now try to start the slipstreaming battle down the long back straight. I should say start-finish straight really. In the mountains of Switzerland, a little bit of a challenge going on here between Lumracer and Sten. Lumracer on the inside in 6th place, holding on, keeping that position at this early stage of the race, and you can see hard tyres on board the car as well. Do a tyre check for everybody as we go down the next straight. Bit of a battle going on the tail of the field as well as Lexus Enjoyer gets past Season 1 champion Hasnain. And a poor start really for Hasnain, and it has really been the story of this season. It doesn't seem to favour him being in the Group 4 cars as well as the Group 3 cars of the previous season. Hasn't really been able to get on terms with the car particularly well this time round, but the season is still only about halfway through. An 11 race championship. This is round 6, as you know from the title of the video. Yazan is hoping for an Antonio win, but the BMWs are quick, he says. Well, Antonio leads the hard tyre running drivers by a very small margin of 1.5 tenths. Make that under a tenth of a second before the BMW of Alpha tries to have a look down the inside, but in fact I think he is quite content to wait behind him. Doesn't want to burn too much fuel. He can save a little bit of fuel. He can lift and coast if he's not going for a major move, and that will help him with his fuel conservation, and maybe eke out an extra lap depending on how his tyre usage goes. But positions 3, 4, 5, Antonio, Alpha and Mehdi, your challengers for the championship here. Antonio leading the championship, leading the way on the hard tyres, and it's still Jamie and HRG in 1st and 2nd place. Now Alpha really starting to draw up behind and hassle the back of Antonio. If he's going to risk a difficult manoeuvre here. He's looking quite patient at this stage, trying to force an error and then make an easy pass. But don't let your eyes deceive you. Positions 3 and 5, Antonio and Mehdi are not in fact teammates. They're just wearing the same Pokemon livery. So unfortunately, that is just a little bit of a deception there. Visually, if you're a newcomer to the league, sometimes we have 4 different cars in the same livery. A lot of Pokemon love out there. Jamie leads by HRG on lap 3 from Antonio, Alpha and Mehdi coming in a tiny and close together triplicate. Will Alpha decide to have a go down into the hairpin here, or stay patient once again? Decides to stay patient. Possibly the hint that Antonio took an early turn in, certainly earlier and more direct into the corner than Alpha was. Cracking circuit here. Could do with a chicane or two on these long straights. Something to condense the cars together. Quite the same slipstream effect that you'd be looking for. Tucked right up behind the Mercedes comes the BMW M4 of Alpha. as he's virtually pushing the Mercedes around the corner. He's looking to conserve tyres, be the best way. Very twisty, tight turns in sector 1 and the start of sector 2. Around here. He's dealing with it quite nicely indeed. So you can see the tyre wear on the bottom left of your screen. You can see the lap times on the middle right of your screen, just telling you a little bit about the pace of the cars concerned. As they go for another run down the long back straight. You see Alfa pressuring Antonio into running wide on the way out of the turn 10, which is the bottom left of the track map, the southwestmost corner of the circuit. And Alfa still piling on that pressure, as is HRD on Jamie, but they are trying to work together here. HRG and Jamie, very little chance in a Group 4 car for the slipstream effect. Downforce very, very low on these cars. Very different body shapes as well. Not exactly suited to high downforce slipstream battles. And Alfa tries once again as they go towards the hairpin. I don't know if he'll make another go. I think he's quite satisfied staying about 2 seconds away from the leaders. No attempt is made once again. How about here? The Jaguar going for a move on the Lexus. So Sten on his debut, tackling Lexus Enjoyer. Maybe a hint of possibly pushing him a little bit wide there. Lexus Enjoyer was, Lexus Enjoyer on the outside of the car. Now that is so confusing because Sten is in the Lexus and Lexus Enjoyer is in the Nissan Silvia. And he gets it wrong as well, Sten. A little bit of a snap oversteer on the exit, a little bit of overspeed on the exit of the corner, and a battle for 8th place continues, as well as bringing up the 10th place Hasnain into the fray as well. Just trying to bring those hard tyres in as gently as possible for the best and most flexible pit stop strategy later on in the race. You can see we've got on the track map the front 2 from the next 3 cars. Nice little gap developing, but still only 2.2 seconds. Then you've got the 3 net leaders effectively on the different strategy and championship challenges of Antonio, Alfa and Mehdi. Next come a pairing of Lum Racer and Joss, although I think that they are starting to bring themselves a little bit closer now to Mehdi, to the back of Mehdi. Joss in the Jaguar. Settling in here into the championship, settling into the top tier, and starting to pile the pressure on. Will he go for a move? He's caught up very nicely to the back of the McLaren, looking very aggressive is the Jaguar driver. Possibly we might see him pit a little bit earlier than the other drivers. He's really ragging those tyres. You can already see the tyre wear on the front right most limited on this circuit. He's already putting a little bit more through that tyre than the other drivers. I'm sure he's done his homework though, and he knows how long and how far into the race he can get with the fuel. Usually it's fuel the drivers stop for on the hard tyre rather than tyre wear, but I know there's been a little bit of an adjustment to the tyre wear rate in my absence, so we'll discover that tyre wear with the rest of you here tonight. But no change at the front. Jamie from HRG, Antonio Alfa and Mehdi in 3rd, 4th and 5th. So it looks like Joss is starting to build the gap here to Lum Racer, although Lum Racer tucked in that slippery, beautiful looking McLaren. Gaining down the long straight, the Jaguar, a bit of a chunkier car, built for cornering, that Jaguar, not for going fast down the straights. And a bit of a snap will from Lum Racer will ease the pressure on Joss, and he'll be focusing on catching Mehdi in front of him. So any change at the middle grouping? No. Still it is Antonio, Alfa and Mehdi, and shouldn't be underestimated just how metronomic, how high quality the driving is around here from these drivers. They are, look at the lap times, 34.6.5, 6.4. It's very, very high quality, consistent driving from well, even more consistent is Antonio's times as well. Even though he's looking a little bit more ragged on corner exit, the Mercedes just naturally understeering when you start putting the power down, but he is definitely driving a nice smooth race. In fact, it looks like Antonio and Alfa getting away from Mehdi slightly, an all French 345, but they're dropping him. HRG just rubbing the wall there, running wide on the exit of turn 10. And then we have 11, 12, 13 at full speed, and here comes Alfa now. Sorry, here comes Antonio on Alfa, and it's got alongside, it's got past him in fact, before the braking zone for the hairpin. So Antonio losing out and Alfa deciding now is the time to start bringing the pace up and pushing further forward. So third place now for Alfa as he looks to try and gain on Antonio in the championship. Antonio will be driving knowing who his main rivals are and trying his best to defend that championship position. It is only a 3-point lead at this stage, so it's way too early to start taking losses. Julie joins us. Yulla says, what game? This is Gran Turismo 7. This is the PSGL GT, the very top drivers in the GT League. Jamie leads from HRG, as it has been from the start, on the medium tyre. Let's have a look at their tyre wear as Alfa starts to stretch away from Antonio, taking that third place, waiting till lap 8, and it'll be the next lap where the top two runners have done the minimum target time on their tyre. 25% race distance, that is 9 complete laps here of the 36 lap race. So I assume they don't have to do a lap, they don't have to pit at different laps, as looks like HRG suffering a little bit with lag, so I wouldn't necessarily believe that he is bottoming out and rubbing the walls quite to the degree that he is, but in fact he's got slightly less tyre wear there than Jamie, and they're trying to get their tyres to the minimum point of the lap, end of lap 9, before they can pit for hards to the end. They'll have to know how much fuel they will be using per lap as well, and because they get to choose how many seconds they remain stationary to fill the car with fuel, and that's why it favours the drivers starting on the hards. If you can give up that grip in qualifying and start on the hards, you can then be stationary for the minimum time possible in the pits, because of course if you run your car as long as you can, there are fewer laps to refuel for. So nearing the kind of 2/3 level of fuel for the main part of the field. Jamie burning more fuel and more tyres though than his teammate at this stage. So Jamie really trying to hang on to his teammate. Underway, so they can finish this lap, the top two, and open their pit window. Looks like rather a dangerous place to stand and watch the race cars go by, doesn't it? Heading down into the hairpin, we'll see if Jamie or HRG decide to pit at the earliest available time for them. Should be that they get a nice pit exit point. No one has ended up too far back in the field, and they both pass up the opportunity to go into the pits. I'm somewhat surprised at Jamie. Look at that front right tyre wear at the bottom left of your screen. His front right getting very, very loose at this stage, but he doesn't feel like he can do much more than 26 laps on the hard tyre himself. We'll see how far the hard tyre goes though on full fuel for the rest of the field. Everybody apart from the top two deciding was to use the hard tyre from the outset and in qualifying. So a 3.1 second gap here for Jamie and HRG to Alfa isn't going to be enough, but it has opened up a little bit. A hint of Alfa starting to turn up the pace as he gets a personal best sector 1, and he logged a personal best lap time overall on 2 laps ago. Lap 8 for him was a 34.085, although Jamie still has that fastest lap at the moment, 33.9. We should see a faster laps when the cars are lighter later on in the race though, so keep your eye on our fastest lap. It's worth something to the drivers. So again, Afa faster than he's been before through sector 2, looking then for potentially trying to close that gap, and he's got it down to 2.4 seconds as the top 2 lose grip on the medium tyre. Let's see, no pit stop yet again for HRG and Jamie, even though they're losing time, and I wonder if when they watch this back they will reconsider that decision. Maybe once you're definitely losing time on the racetrack you decide that it's time to pit, but they'll be confident of their strategy. They'll know how many laps they can get out of the hard tyre comfortably at the end, and how loose they can let these mediums go. Of course, it doesn't matter how much practice you do, sometimes track conditions are a little bit of a surprise to you. HRG a little bit tricky for us to watch, especially if anyone watching has got motion sickness with that lag. Fastest lap on lap 8 though from Jamie, so his tyres still holding together pretty well. Look at that front right though, it's very, very low indeed. I wouldn't want to be driving with that tyre in that condition, I have to say. Afa in 3rd, Antonio in 4th, where he has been, and he's now bringing the pace up as well. He's only 4.2 seconds off the lead, and in fact only 1 second away from Afa. He hasn't let him get away. Antonio, your championship leader by 3 points at the moment. Further back we have Mehdi still in 5th, then comes Joss, who hasn't been able to catch Mehdi particularly at this stage. Then comes Love Racer, followed by Lexus Enjoyer in 8th, then Sten, who's dropped down behind Lexus Enjoyer after passing him earlier on, and Hasnain in 10. Yula says, is it Motorsport 7? It is Gran Turismo 7 in this game. I did try and answer you, but I don't know if you've managed to pick up while I ramble along. Lap 11 finishes for the front 2, and they stay out on track. They are looking to do at least 1/3 of the race distance, and we've just passed that now on the medium tyre. So trying to split the race nice and easily into 3 sections. 1/3 for the medium tyre, 2/3 for the hard tyre. You see the reverse true for the rest of the field. Some real leaning on the tyres going on. Yola says, yeah, only PlayStation, unfortunately. Gran Turismo 7 is a PlayStation exclusive. Always has been Gran Turismo. One of the key reasons why I'm a PlayStation advocate. Gran Turismo has been part of my PlayStation journey ever since PS1. So, yeah, definitely an exclusive on PlayStation here. Nonetheless, we absolutely enjoy it. Beautiful rendered game. Afa then, 3rd place. Still just 1 second away from Antonio, but under 4 seconds now. 3.3 seconds his gap to the leaders. Xavier says, are there other position battles going on? Not exactly, no. We are waiting for the first pit stops, which should happen any time now, and there they go. Jamie into the pits, and his first pit stop. HRG with the extra running. He has been able to try and run that little bit longer. You want a different camera angle? No worries. Let's do you a different camera angle for this in-lap, presumably for HRG, and we'll see if the car is still handling well and he can try and get himself a personal best. He needs a good, strong in-lap if he wants to leapfrog his teammate, and his main battle will be with his teammate tonight. So let's watch with him as he rides over those mini sausage curves, just little lumpy curves there on the exit of turn 5 before the tunnel. This is turn 6, looping inside the tunnel before quickly heading into turn 7. Turn 9 now. Trying to keep the car neat and tidy, but with the tyre wear on the medium tyres, it's very, very difficult. We run wide, very wide on the exit of the corner and run through Now it's the flat out section, so we'll get an update on his lap as he passes the timing beam about now, and he's only 3/10 off his ultimate fastest time, which I believe is 34.1, so he's definitely pushing. Jamie, I imagine, has come out, he's actually come out in 8th position, so he managed to leapfrog the 2 tail runners at the back of the field here. So this is just Jamie, this is HRG's hot lap, and into the pits we go with Jamie, with HRG, sorry, and he'll be heading on. So then Afa takes on the lead of the race by 0.8 of a second, and this will be how they run now, presumably to about lap, what are we looking at, about lap 23, 24 kind of time will be the point at which we might then see the leaders come in. So Afa in the lead from Antonio by just under 1 second. Afa having gone past Antonio, competitive overtake on the circuit. Next comes Mehdi in 3rd place, currently yet to pit. Of course, all these hard runners, you can see their tyre wear on the bottom left, but they're entering towards that 1/4 tank of fuel. So which will dictate their fuel, their pit stop? Will it be fuel or will it be tyres first? It looks like it's going to be tyres tonight. And we chase view with Joss in the Jaguar. He's in 4th position, so 6.7 seconds off the lead, and nearly 5 seconds away from 3rd place. He's making his debut with us, Joss. Then comes Lum Racer. He's in 5th place and is racing the McLaren, in the rainbow livery McLaren. Then Lexus Enjoyer, ironically, in the Nissan Silvia, in the distinct livery. In P6, HRG did manage to leapfrog his teammate, so got the overcut done on his teammate. Just a shade less time spent in the pits for fuel, and Jamie turning up the whip now and trying to catch his teammate. I imagine they'll try and do battle towards the end of the race. Hasnain has picked up the fastest lap after getting onto the medium tyres quite early. I think he'll be 2-stopping tonight by the look of things. I don't think he put a lot of fuel in, did Hasnain. So Hasnain in the pits, started on the hard tyre. He has to do 9 laps on these hards, on these mediums, and then the option will be open to him to run the softs or the hards at the end of the race. Sten brings up the rear with a slightly less consistent race than everybody else, although he has also pitted, I think, another 2-stopper. Sten down in 10th position in the Lexus RCF, and there was his pit stop in lap 12. Back to the front then with the battle for the podium. A penalty on the car then for Antonio, and we'll ride watching Mehdi, because they'll go under this first tunnel, see the yellow chevrons, and he will go off throttle for half a second. That will actually end up costing him a lot more than half a second, because of course the car chasing him will be at full throttle. So Mehdi, full throttle now, will try and peel round the outside, and he does so. Antonio slipping foul of the steward's track limits, but Mehdi overestimating how late he could brake on these worn hard tyres, and almost opens the door again for Afa. They'll run side by side through this section, and Afa might well manage to get himself a nice slipstream as well. Mehdi, will he defend to the inside and try and hang on as they head towards the open hairpin of the turn of 1. No sign of a move coming though from Antonio. There's that signature early turn in from Antonio. It'll just be something he needs to do on the Mercedes, but tricky racing for Antonio so far. He's ended up losing 2 positions from where he started relative. So he has been at the front of this battle for the podium currently. He's at the back of this battle for the podium. Afa stretching his lead out to 2.3 seconds as his pace increases and the cars get super light now. Any news do we see from the front 2, I wonder? As they were, it does look like Jamie catching HRG, now under 0.7 of a second this gap. HRG looking more ragged on screen than he probably is in real life, just because of the lag on HRG's car. This is why we no longer use HRG as a session host. as HRG goes over the dust and kicks up some dust in the face of his teammate. Beautiful livery car. What's your favourite livery that watching so far? Are you siding with me here on the Aperture Laboratories Porsche Cayman GT4s? Or do you prefer Pokemon liveries? Maybe newcomer of Joss and his Jaguar. Let's find Joss for you. Here he is. On his own, somewhat. He's maintaining that gap to the car behind, not really able to catch the cars in front. There is Joss in his Jag. So into lap 17, the leaders go. Cars will all condense towards the end of the race, and we'll have a race on our hands. I'm sure Afa, Mehdi and Antonio will not be content to stay where they are on circuit. Looks like Antonio getting very, very close indeed now to the back of Mehdi, trying to get that place back. And the overcut seemed to work for the only pit stops we've seen so far. HRG versus Jamie as a pit stop battle. HRG got the nod by running that extra lap long. Who's going to be the most likely then of this group? Looks like we've got a flashing front right axle there for Antonio. I wonder if he got damage on the car from a collision, or is that a potential slow puncture already beginning? He's under a quarter of a tank, certainly probably under a fifth of a tank now for him, and I wonder if it's time to pit. It'll be a little bit ahead of schedule for him, but I think we're some distance from the minimum time period on the medium time when they finally put that on. Into the pits though comes second place Mehdi, and Antonio goes through. Interesting to see. No warning on Alpha's car, and he's been saving a little bit more fuel. So Mehdi, the first to blink of the hard starting runners at the front of this circuit, race. He's coming out of the pits. Will he come out in front of or behind the erstwhile leaders of the race, Jamie and HRG? Jamie has got back past his teammate now. Let's see, where does Mehdi resume this race? He is well behind those two, but he'll be on quicker tyres at the end of the race. So Mehdi's still stuck in the pits, I believe, finally coming out there in P9, and in fact possibly under threat from Sten at the back of the field. So a very long pit stop for Mehdi. He's put plenty of fuel in the car. Now he's got to tiptoe around on those medium tyres if he wants to one-stop this one. So back down into ninth, some 36 seconds off the lead of the race following that pit stop, but 5.5 seconds off the car in front, 9 seconds off the cars he might well be fighting against. Remember, Hasnain is on a two-stopper, almost certainly. I don't see him running those mediums the rest of the race distance. Jamie and HRG continue their battle. Has been going race long. HRG doing himself no favours though, picking up a half-second penalty as Afa comes in the pits. What does Antonio decide to do? He's also in the pits. Afa and Antonio in the pits. So Joss, it's time for his pit stop as well. Again, 2/3 distance, lap 18, right on schedule for our leaders. As into the pits comes the Nissan Silvia driving Lexus Enjoyer. He's on his way in. Jamie will presumably go on through and resume the lead of this race. HRG with a half-second penalty still yet to be paid for. Luisi fan says Hasnain's my best friend. Excellent. Okay, Hasnain, season 1 champion. He needs your support though to try and bring himself forward into contention for this second season. I don't think he's able to defend that title quite yet. Don't mind just ignoring the jump spam in the live chat there. I won't draw attention to it other than just to say please ignore. I don't have a moderator with me to clear all that stuff off. But it is Jamie from HRG, as it was at the start of this race. Hasnain in second, two-stopping this race and running light on fuel already, chewing through those medium tyres, going for a real sprint run here on the mediums with light on fuel. Afa came out of the pits, staying in that net 4th position from Mehdi, net 3rd really. but he's on medium tyres now. Again, very important to take your time, be gentle on these medium tyres on this first lap out of the pits, and then you can build your speed towards the end of the race. Mehdi in 5th. Antonio managed to have a very long pit stop. He stopped and stayed, ended up coming out behind Sten, who, like Hasnain, is 2-stop in this one, in my estimation at least. So Mehdi with some Antonio with some distance to catch, and he is our championship leader. So it's this race not really favouring Mehdi whatsoever. Yeah, good advice from Clutch there. So currently, who's your favourite for a win tonight? Do you think HRG or Jamie will hang on with the aggressive strategy, or do you think it will favour those medium runners currently who are one-stopping? What do we think? Will Afa manage to bag some big points against Antonio here in the championship? Mehdi could play spoiler in the middle of it, or decide to try and help out his teammate Antonio. What of our debut chance? Sten, currently running 6th, 2-stopper. Joss, currently running 8th, some 7 seconds behind the championship leader Antonio. Not a bad way to play this game, although 20.5 seconds off the lead. Might have been hoping for a little bit more before joining. Looks like we lost Lum Racer, unfortunately. He has exited the session. I'm just waiting for an update on his race. He's typing away in the driver chat room on Discord here. A reminder, you're watching Premier Sim Gaming League's GT division, top tier racing. This is round 6 of our 2nd season. My name is Webbo. If you've been enjoying the commentary tonight, you can follow my output. I will be here, of course, for Tier 1 for the majority of the season, but I also can be found on socials at WebboRed5, where I'll be broadcasting at other times of the week, where you'll be able to catch my racing. So, yes, Lum Racer said he had to leave. He had to run the car down to 0. I'm quite sure what his problem was. Hasnain and Sten come into the pits now, and so that will help out Joss and Antonio, because they will gain those places back, and they have done already. Antonio with another half-second penalty in the Mercedes here, wearing on the car. He's struggling to come out of the hairpin safely and without issue. Up at the front, let's check out our beautiful Aperture livery, Aperture Laboratory livery, Porsche Cayman pairing here of HRG and Jamie. Still battling it out. Let's compare their fuel and tyre usage. HRG on these, he stopped for medium, so he'll be running a 2-stopper, and so did Jamie. So another the plot thickens. They'll be running. They've got medium, and we'll have to pit again before the end of the race. So presumably they're going for medium, soft, possibly here on the race. But we will keep you posted on that one. Afa is on a 1-stop medium strategy. Just to compare then, we've got Jamie running better fuel consumption, worse tyre consumption relative to his teammate. Alpha should be fueled to the end now, at 21 of 36. We're past the 2/3 distance. Alpha with a strong chance here of taking a win for the BMW team. This would be Alpha's 3rd win if he does make it. He has one race where he didn't feature on the podium, no score in round 2 in the USA, but a second is his record so far, and only 3 points off the lead of the championship, with his gap to Antonio. If he does manage to bag the win tonight, he'll be in a very strong position in the championship. Antonio could be looking at 3rd, could be looking at 4th or 5th, depending on how far away he ends up behind Jamie and HRG, or vice versa if they come out in front of him. Personal best time here for Antonio. 33.9 is his personal best. 33.0 is the fastest lap of the race from Mehdi currently. Other winners so far this season. Jamie has one win, the most recent run in Austria. We have Antonio, who won the 1st round, and then we've got S. Moreno, who isn't with us tonight, but he won round 2. So nice mixed bag, nice close championship at the front. 3 drivers on certainly within a shout at this stage. Just to remind you then, Antonio 59, Afa 56, Mehdi 34, S Moreno on 32, and season 1 champion Hasnain on 24 points, although with, as I say, not the best results so far, only won 3rd place in the most recent round 2 weeks ago. Another penalty on the car for Jamie, for HRG, sorry, following behind Jamie. Will that be the thing that breaks the slipstream toe for Jamie and leaves him more vulnerable here to Afa? Of course, no DRS. Excuse me, no DRS an option here for the drivers, but the slipstream, depending on the aerodynamics of the car, slipstream can be fairly useful. Hint of a flash of the headlights there from HRG. I wonder if he's communicating to his teammate, I need you to lift because we need to stay together, and I need the slipstream to defend from for the upcoming Afa, who's chasing behind and bringing that gap down to 2.9 seconds now. There'll be a bit more than that before they reach the end of this lap. Of course, with that penalty on the car there for HRG, you can see losing ground to his teammate, slipping out of the 1 second window. Sweet spot there for the slipstream, but they are heading back to the pits fairly soon. Afa getting a wiggle on coming out of the turn 14, final major point on the racetrack, major braking event on the racetrack. Through we go. I think they have to use the hard tyre as well as the medium tonight, so that will presumably be what Jamie and HRG put on the car, as well as a little bit of fuel to finish this race off. With the gap to 2.3 to Jamie, 3.5 to the lead. Still kicking up the dirt, and still pounding those fastest times. Personal best on lap 23. The chase is on for Afa. Further back in the field, Mehdi, some 2.4 seconds away from Afa. Then comes Antonio, who really has slipped out of sight of the other drivers, and could be playing this pretty cannily. Could be Alain Prosting this one and trying to have tyres to fight with at the end of the race. He does appear to have better tyre wear than Mehdi. Quite as good as Afa though. Joss in 6th place. He is 7.7 seconds away from Antonio. 11 seconds in front of Lexus Enjoy though. Lexus Enjoy, I think, will be 2 stopping this one. Everyone stopping for Lexus Enjoy. Hasnain and Sten are the 2 stoppers. They've now put the soft tyres on, Hasnain and Sten likewise, looking for a 12-lap run on the soft tyres. A little bit adventurous for them. It's a little bit tricky to run the soft tyres for quite that long, and just a quarter of a tank left for both of them. And a penalty on the Cayman. Simon Kessie, liveried season 1 champion there, Hasnain. Update at the front, and it is HRG who is slipping into the clutches of Afa. Now Afa is closer to HRG than HRG is to Jamie. Still waiting on that second pit stop then from the front 2. Mandatory pit stop. Here they have to use 2 compounds. They only use mediums from the start. Great camera angles outboard on the drivers. We join Afa on board for a little bit as he goes for a chase down here. You can see HRG, he's not quite as far out of shape as he looks, tucked into the slipstream. Oh, a half-second penalty applied late on the car there for HRG will open the door, I anticipate. Though he didn't appear to lift particularly strongly. I think that penalty came very, very late in the day. Afa trying to give us wider berth as possible to the lagging car of HRG. Very difficult for Afa to deal with. Could end up with inadvertent contact. Into the pits though comes the top 2. of Jamie, just in time for Afa as his times were starting to be affected. Fastest lap for him, previous lap out. I don't think this one will be a new fastest lap. It is not. So lap 26 was his fastest at 32.961 on the board. Mehdi inherits second. Antonio back up to third. Joss, though, on his debut, looking to secure fourth position as well. That would be a very, very strong debut for Joss. Variety of different camera angles. I have to scroll through them, so apologies for that. But that's the screens that we have for you. Fifth place is Lexus Enjoyer. Manages to get the overtake done in the pits of Jamie. Here is Hasnain, already deep into his third stint here now on soft tyres. HRG, sorry, Jamie and HRG have had to put the hard tyres on. Hard tyre and the medium were required tyres, so the two stoppers could opt to use a soft if they had used both. I'm not sure this is going to work out very well. And here is the second stop then for Sten. Is it in fact? Yeah, this is the second stop for Sten with 9 laps to go. He puts soft tyres on. No, he puts hard tyres on. The game a little bit late to update for us there, but hard to medium seems to be the way to run this race successfully for the front three at least. Well, front four I should say. We could have an all-French podium with Afa, Mehdi and Antonio racing for France. Can't verify the nationalities, but I'm fairly sure that everyone's being pretty genuine about this. Afa, Mehdi, Antonio, your top three on lap 27 of 36. Joss on his debut in fourth position on his own in the Jaguar. Then comes Lexus Enjoyer. Your season 1 champion Hasnain running low on fuel now. We'll need to pit next lap out. Next opportunity, I should say, running low on the soft tyres. Need to put on, I think, the hards for the final stint of the race and a little bit of fuel as well to boot. Over half a tank of fuel went on board for Jamie. That might be over-egging it. He's trying to play it safe. Half a tank for the remaining 9 laps. Sounds a little bit over the top, but maybe just playing it safe. Wanting to push with rich mix as well. You can play around with the mix on the engine in this game. Try and adapt to how track conditions are treating you. You won't get caution periods, of course, in Gran Turismo. None of that safety car nonsense here. So you can use your strategy to the full. You can practice your strategy time and time again. Fairly certain that unknown jokers in the pack aren't going to affect you, unless, of course, we have weather issues. I think we are looking pretty dry here in Switzerland, despite the fact that we're right in the middle of the mountains at Deep Forest Raceway. 9 runners remain from the 10 starters. Sten at the back, some distance away now, 35 seconds away from HRG, having just pitted for the slowest tyres at the end of the race and struggling to get them up to temperature. You can see a nice sideways drift in the tunnel. Looked good on screen anyway. And he runs wide as well, getting into the dust at the front of the circuit. Afa continues then on a 2.3 second gap to Mehdi. I think just pacing himself here. He is running low on fuel though, so looks like a soft tyre stop here. A second stop looking likely. So again, should be very, very interesting to see how this one finishes out. Afa and Mehdi very much running low on their fuel. We'll need a splash and dash and a change for soft tyres. Penalty for Mehdi isn't going to help his chase on Afa. Let's see where Jamie currently sits. He is 37 seconds away from the lead. I think that's just outside of the challenge here for the podium. Once Afa is finished in the pits, we'll have to wait and see. Afa pit this time out. His fuel light is flashing. That for me is an indication he has to pit, but no, he's happy to risk it. One more lap for Afa. He's going to try and overcut Mehdi and defend against the change for position. We'll see how far Mehdi manages to go under these racing conditions, as in comes Antonio as well, just getting past Mehdi in the pit lane, but that will reverse itself in seconds time, medium tyres going on the cars. No, I imagine softs will go on the cars for Antonio and Mehdi. They can of course use the medium if they wish to. Joss comes in, same lap as well. So let's see about Jamie. Currently still 38 seconds off the lead, but will he be able to get past the cars currently in the pits? Absolutely will. Certainly past one of them. There's also a car coming out of the pits on board with Jamie then. And there is the car of Mehdi in front. So Jamie with still some work to do to get back the front of this field. He's got to overtake Mehdi and hope that Alpha has a problem on his in-lap. HRG got in front of Antonio, so Antonio letting that gap slip out, may well lose those 2 places now to Jamie and HRG at the end of this one. It could end up finishing with Antonio behind Mehdi and Alpha, who he was battling with early on in the race. Let's go on board Alpha, shall we, and see how he is pushing on his in-lap. Well, I won't get you much of an opportunity to see as he comes in now there off his car. We'll see what Mehdi put on. It is the soft tyres. It is just under half a tank of fuel on Mehdi's car. I imagine Lexus Enjoy will be heading into the pits as well shortly. Yeah, Jelma says no moderation moment. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a mod with me tonight. I'm afraid it's a bit of a plague of YouTube videos lately. If someone isn't asking the forbidden question at Premier Sim Gaming League's live chat, then we're getting spammed with this kind of rubbish. My apologies, there's nothing much I can do about it, unfortunately. Afa then comes out of the pits and he resumes his first position, defends from Jamie, who is still 9 seconds away, so that short stop for a smaller amount of fuel for Afa has managed to keep his lead of the race and extend it with the overcut from Mehdi. That gap was below 3 seconds. It's now 3.3 seconds to the lead. This is the battle for the end of the race, the remaining 6 laps now. Mehdi going quickly. He's got his soft tyres up to temperature before Afa, that is now, and Jamie on the hunt, but 9 seconds away from the lead, unfortunately. He started on pole position with his teammate, who has picked up, unfortunately, yet another half-second penalty. So HRG and Antonio both spending quite a bit of time off throttle down that back straight. We'll see it shortly, and running wide again there, HRG, sorry. Antonio will be passed him before he even has to go off throttle with that exit of the corner. It's very, very difficult, that turn at 10, southwest corner of the circuit. And HRG slipping back behind championship leading Antonio and down to 5th. Now this is where the cars will battle to the end of the race. No more pit stops for the top 6 or 7. Certainly 7 with Lexus Enjoy on fresh softs now. Hasnain also on those fresh softs, so 4.8 seconds away from 7th, and then 13 seconds behind comes our tail running Sten, making his debut with us here in the Lexus RCF. So Afa 3 points off the lead of the championship. Looks to take a big bite out of Antonio's lead with a much stronger result tonight. Afa with a strong set of finishes, the most wins of anybody in the championship in this season. But with 1 no score is certainly putting himself where he feels he belongs. This could be a major turning point of the season, though, for Afa, showing his dominance. He knows he can run out wide on that green painted surface. Certainly no problems for him. Running foul of the stewards. I don't think I've seen a penalty on his car, and he's got a purple second sector time, looking to try and knock in the fastest lap here on the fresh softs. They've done a warm-up lap, and now they are at their absolute peak. The car down to a quarter tank of fuel. Will get a bit lighter than this, but I'm not sure it will be in quite so sweet a spot as it is right now. And looking to grab that fastest lap off Mehdi. 32.4 is his reference lap. What does Affa manage as he goes to cross the line this time out? He will claim that fastest lap, 32.3, and Mehdi, his last lap was recorded 32.4. His lap 32 wasn't recorded. I think he went wide. So Antonio, he takes the new fastest lap, finally getting out of getting some pace on the car. The Mercedes enjoying the soft tyres at this stage, and getting a 32.274, just a shade faster than Alpha. 1/10, just under 1/10 of a second. He is the fastest man on the track right now. Antonio, our championship leader. Fastest first sector again for Antonio as well. So really trying to dial the car in, enjoying the car. Nice to have the car light and rippy at its absolute best. Hopefully he'll be able to avoid that late corner understeer that has been plaguing him this race. Well, as I say that, he runs wide, but it's almost part of the racetrack through turn 10. If you can avoid the wall, the Armco barrier I should say, it's a legitimate way to go through. Again, purple middle sector next for Antonio. Affa trying to increase the pace as well. Luisi saying Jamie wins. I'm not sure Jamie's going to get this one. He was on top, but yeah, Jamie is currently fourth, and I think a little bit too far away. Another fastest lap then from Alpha as he trades fastest laps with Antonio. What has Antonio got in reply? It was a 1:32.1 for Alpha that time. It is a 1. Well, it's not registered again from Antonio, unfortunately. So bragging rights go to Alpha on that lap. Jamie is now 15 seconds off the lead, so 2.8 behind Antonio. We've got Joss, who has managed to stay or get ahead of HRG, who has picked up yet another penalty. So Joss in 5th place on his debut from HRG. So HRG wearing that penalty, he'll have to serve that next time through, and Joss will be relieved to see that one. Further back, 7th place, Lexus Enjoyer in 7th there, on his own a little bit, as is Hasname. Penalty on board the Cayman, then comes Sten at the back of the field, avoiding being lapped though, so happy about that. 3.8 seconds the gap at the front. Alpha leads with 3 complete laps to run. See Alpha across the line. Is it going any quicker? Not this time. 32.1. It's almost there. It's Alpha at the same pace, but still not quite able to challenge Antonio this time across the line. He will get a 33.0, so he's definitely chewing through those tyres. Jamie on the hunt to try and get on the podium. He's got a 4-second gap with 3 laps to run. Majority of 3 laps to run, I should say. But Joss perhaps might be tempted to try and make a move here on the 2nd Amateur Laboratories Porsche Cayman. Jamie with less ultimate pace here with the hard tyre. Quite suffer the peaks and troughs of the soft tyre. Joss is on right now. Good job to get these softs to the end of the race. Eating through the lead that Jamie has on him. So join on board then the Jaguar. Slipstream, listen for the engine note to rise as it gets that slipstream. Quite tempted to go for a move just yet, but another slipstream run like that and a good exit from turn 14 will see him gain so much time. He's already tucked up in the slipstream, already gaining in 3rd gear here, and now looking for an opening. Should be fairly straightforward as he looks for that that window on the way into turn 1. A little bit of indecision. I think a little bit of bumper rubbing cost him that one. Neither driver particularly sure where the other one was going to go, but Joss completes the move, gets himself up to P4, and a nice move there from the Jaguar driver, making his debut with us. Jamie and HRG having to settle at the moment for 5th and 6th place, despite starting 1st and 2nd in that order. Let's go back to the front then, as Affa has extended his lead. 32.1 for the last 3 laps is tremendous pace from Affa. He's just trying to squash any hope that might remain from Mehdi, and that he's about to, his pace is about to tail off. Mehdi's fuel light is flashing. He'll hope to try and get one more lap out of this one, as will Affa, whose fuel is dangerously low, frankly. I think he'll be winding the engine back for this final lap, just to get the car to the end. Antonio, maybe a couple of pixels worth of more fuel in the car, and the tyres are shredded on Antonio's car. I do wonder, will we see any issues for fuel usage? Everybody right on the limit. This is great to see that everybody has taken it right down to the wire here. Sten has got plenty of fuel. He can turn the engine right up for this final lap. But Affa, I assume, I don't know if we can see on his dash what his fuel usage is looking like. I don't think we can. There's no display on there for us, unfortunately. But I'm sure he'll be lifting and coasting to get this car to the end, because it is looking a little bit hairy, the amount of fuel he's got remaining, especially given the long flat out sections. Still pushing on corner exit though, not really letting the car do the work to get to corner exit. Still harrowing this car, and you can see lap 35, some 4/10 slower than his previous lap. This one already 3/10 slower, and he's taking his time here to get to the end. Will he go off throttle early on? Absolutely he will. Same deal for Mehdi. Mehdi went almost straight off throttle, straight to the brake. So Affa trying to eke this one out to the finish. He might enter low fuel mode, but he's only got a few yards to go. Affa, with a masterful one-stop strategy, wins at Deep Forest Raceway here in Switzerland, wins round 6, and takes a big bite out of Antonio's championship lead. Will take the championship lead himself. Affa now. Mehdi in 2nd place, did get the car to the finish, and your championship leader Antonio will only manage, I think, 3rd tonight. He'll be happy with the way that played out, but not necessarily be happy at the 18-second gap to the winner. Joss debuts and scores a 4th position. Very impressive. Then comes Jamie and HRG, low on fuel, as low as it comes on fuel for HRG. Then comes, we've got Lexus Enjoy in 7th place, running the car very low on fuel, but a personal best final lap, wasn't taking it too easy. Season 1 champion Hasnain completes into 8th place, and we will, I'm not sure we'll see Sten cross the line, so we'll concentrate on our winner Affa. Hope you've enjoyed that one. If I get a championship update, I don't think I will get a championship update in time, but Affa is on a wind down lap, just taking in the applause from the, well, I'd say crowd, but there's not really a lot of crowd there. Marshals, he's taking in the applause from the marshals on the circuit for a fine victory. 36 laps around Deep Forest Raceway, won by Affa from the 3rd row on the grid, but completed the race in a very impressive. Look at those lap 32, 33, 34 lap times, all within the same 10th as the fastest lap of the race, that he himself got a perfect day's work for Affa. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that one. Mehdi in 2nd, and Antonio, your podium. Hope you've enjoyed it, folks. I won't see an official results screen, but that is as things finished. Affa, Mehdi, Antonio, Joss, Jamie, HRG, Lexus, Hasnain and Sten finished this race. So 9 finishes from 10 starters. Not too bad at all. Congratulations go to Affa, takes the win and the championship lead. This has been Webbo. This has been Premier Sim Gaming League's Gran Turismo Division Top Tier. Join us next week, folks, for round 7 of the championship. But until then, from me, from everybody involved in the league, we will catch you on the next race day.